They should have already known about this spot, but one of many times they've made this trip to the pond, not once were they accompanied by a very large wooden box. They stood at each post and waited for Jay and Leon and the box to catch up. Wes and Wayne shared a moment of prideful rhetoric as they waited for Jay and Leon to arrive. Wes said, "Wayne, we're getting pretty good at this Centurion Guard stuff, don't you think?" Wayne said, "Well, I reckon we are. I don't know any other Centurion Guard, so I suppose we're the best there is." Wes nodded in agreement. Moments later, the box and its attendants approached the fence squarely between the positions held by the Centurions, Wes and Wayne. Just as it reached the wire boundary, the command came. Jay said, "Box, stop 6 inches from the fence wire." Leon's level of confidence increased with each bit of forward progress. He summoned all his newly found authority and relayed the command to the box, and the box responded perfectly. The team of 4 were once again huddled around the box. Wes explained the positive aspects of the place that he and Wayne had chosen. It boasted the wide separation between the posts, the loosened staples, and the pre-stretched nature of the wire. Taken together, all of this made it the most optimum crossing point. Jay agreed. Leon agreed too, but he wasn't sure why. Rabbit head. Jay said, "Okay, guys, test the fence to see what kind of room we can get between the wires. If it's wide enough, we can pass the box through. If not, we will need to coax the box high enough to pass it over the fence." Wes and Wayne dutifully took their positions at the fence. With one foot on the lower wire and two-fisted grip on the second wire, they pulled up and pushed down in unison to present the largest possible opening their small frames would afford. The space appeared to be large enough for the box, but they could only hold the opening for a short time. Wes lost his grip on the upper wire first. While he was smaller, Wayne yielded to no one easily. He held his position as long as he could before the upper wire slipped from his hand too. They both held a foot on the bottom wire. They should have tried harder to coordinate the next move as they looked at each other in a manner that would presume commonality of thought. Such was not the case. Wes let his left foot slip off the wire before Wayne was ready. The tension returned the wire swiftly to the natural state of rest. The next effect was a release of energy that was transmitted to Wayne's foot. Wayne was lifted off the ground by the recoiling wire. He went airborne momentarily before finding his own state of rest, as it happened to be sitting right upright on a fresh cow patty. Poop. More cow poop. Wes could complain of a painful throbbing in his hands, but he didn't. He knew Wayne had the same problem, plus the added indignity of having to eventually return home with the unmistakable scent of cow poop emanating from his backside. Wes got up and offered a hand to Wayne to help him right up. A muffled snicker began to surface from the general direction of Leon. That first little chortle set off a chain reaction so that Leon, Jay, and even Wes were laughing hard. All of this was, of course, at the expense of little old Wayne and his fast-departing dignity. Soon enough, Wayne himself found a little humor in this moment, and he too began to laugh. The others laughed so hard they were nearly choked on their own spit. That's when Wayne waddled over to the nearest patch of grass and started scooting on his bottom. That's when Wayne waddled over to the nearest patch of grass and started scooting his bottom over the ground like a dog on a rug. The others tried feebly to contain themselves without success. Wayne's scooting performance caused them to scream and even harder with laughter as they rolled around helplessly on the loose dirt and patchy grass. They now had the presence of mind to steer clear of the offending piles of bovine byproduct. Jay finally brought the whole thing to an end. when he said, hey, we better quieten down. We don't want to attract any attention. He said this as he pointed toward the box. Too late. Someone did hear him. Johnny Baker and Leon's older brother, Jocus, heard the ruckus. They had been taking turns shooting Johnny's BB gun at whatever came into their sights down by the edge of Messamore's pond. Jocus and Johnny looked at each other and then turned to look back in the direction of the laughter. They couldn't see anything since the sound came from over the hill. It's them pool boys, said Jocus. Let's go up there and give them a scare for laughing at us. You got plenty of BBs, Johnny? Johnny answered by patting his pant leg, which contained a paper tube with enough BBs to sound like a rattlesnake with every step he took. Back at the fence, Jay was trying to settle the gang down long enough to proceed with the box in tow. Leon, are you ready to do your magic? Asked Jay. The blank stare that often visited Leon's face had returned. Leon's only experience with magic was the black magic that his family took very seriously because of their beliefs in the ghosts and the haints and the such. Leon broke his stare and asked, What magic you talking about there, Jay? Jay quickly calmed Leon by saying, I'm just talking about the box and the way it follows your voice commands. Jay quickly calmed Leon. All that, he said. He was noticeably relieved. Yeah, let's get on moving down there toward the pond. After some study and a few rudimentary calculations, Jay announced that their only recourse was to cause the box to pass over the wires than rather push through them. All agreed, including Wayne, who was in no hurry to repeat his flip-flop-sop-flop scoot maneuver. They set up for the task commanding the box to move. They were completely unaware that they were soon to be confronted by Jocus and Johnny. Leon was very carefully navigated his way between the strands of barbed wire. He had felt the sting of one of those barbs before. He would not be hesitant to admit he did not like it. This time he got to the other side of the fence without incident. Jay stayed with the box just opposite where Leon stood. Wes and Wayne moved forward a little toward the pond to reestablish their roles as the Centurion outlooks. Wayne set the pace as he still found it difficult to walk normally with cow pasture plaster drying on his backside. They could see all the way to the pond and saw nothing out of the ordinary. Wayne kept looking while Wes turned to report their findings. All clear down here, Jay, Wes sing-songingly called out. He was a little proud of himself for forming a rhyme with his words. They didn't see anything to report because Jocus and Johnny had cleverly circled around and away from the source of the ruckus laughter they sought to investigate. Given the go-ahead signal, Jay spoke to Leon. Okay, Leon, you've got to take your time with this maneuver because it's going to be a little bit more complicated than we've done so far. Leon tilted his head to the left and then to the right, much like a dog does when you say something they don't quite understand. Jay read his expression and said, Leon, it's going to be harder, so you have to go slow. Leon got it that time and nodded to show it. At this point, Jocus and Johnny had reached a point where they could see all that was going on. Whether or not they believed what they saw was a different matter. Jay said, All right, Leon, say, box, raise straight up 5 feet. Leon relayed the instruction word for word. With a minor rumble and a shimmy shake of the box, it slowly rose up to the appointed height. Leon, Jay continued, say, box, come forward toward me 6 feet again. Again, Leon repeated the words, and the box moved as directed. At this point in the process, the unexpected began to happen. Wes yelled, Hey, Jay! There's somebody down there watching us. Wes pointed in the direction of Jocus and Johnny. He could not tell who it was at this point, so he didn't know if they were friend or foe. Jay looked, but he couldn't see them over the rise, so he knew fast action was required. Jocus and Johnny didn't know whether to be amazed or to be scared silly from what they had just seen. Having been spotted, they decided to approach cautiously. Jay reacted quickly. "Leon, tell the box to set down slowly to the ground." Leon wasn't blessed with the same calm reserve as Jay in situations like this. The pressure of bringing the communicator to the box and the fear of unknown assassins looming just on the overside of the hill weighed very heavily on him. As much as he wanted to bolt toward home, Leon somehow held his ground. While Wes and Wayne loped over high grasses to the fence as they could, Leon relayed Jay's last command. He said, "Box, drop!" The box responded with a free fall to the ground. The impact was hard enough to knock both Jay and Leon off of their feet. Once the box landed, a huge boil of dust rose up all around it. The dust began to whirl around the box. Jay moved down a couple of fence posts to pass it over to the other side. Leon was moving backward in the general direction of the pond as fast as Wes and Wayne were running away from it. Jay got close enough to the box to feel the dust air moving around it with ever-increasing speed. The big old box began to move towards Leon. Jay hollered at Leon, "Slow down, Leon. It's trying to follow you. It's not going to hurt you." Leon slowed down for a minute, and the box did too. The dust continued to increase to the point that the box could not be seen. Jocus and Johnny were pretty sure they had seen all this strange activity, but neither could bring it to himself to be the first to confess it. Jocus said to Johnny, "Did you see? Did we?" He couldn't bring himself to speak all the words out loud.